Triple H called out Sapp and Fightful and all them, and there were two different reactions, right? So Triple H calls out PW Insider and Sapp and them, not directly, right? But basically, I don't have the clip. He calls out the dirt sheets. Of course, Wrestling Observer, who we'll talk about, they had to give their 2 cents and get all worked up and upset about it. But before we circle into that, we'll start here with basically, because it was Fightful and PWI that took the brunt of it, right? Wrestling Observer sort of, don't worry, the flutes are polished, guys, okay? Don't worry, it is coming. I know what you're waiting for. I know what you're hanging around for. But a tale of two reactions. So Triple H at the press conference, I don't have the exact clip. We reacted to it when we were doing Backlash, but review on the last live show. But during Backlash, the press conference, it was very quick, and Triple H came out and someone asked them, like Fightful and PW Insider say, this and that about Drew Gulak. And so Triple H's response was like, hey, you better get, I wish Marv was here too. He does the best Triple H, but it's, you better get your shit from credible sources is basically what he said. You better trust in news that's actually news, basically. And so on one side, here's PW Insider's response to Triple H at pwinsider.com. Shout them out. They go, thoughts on what Triple H said today? I don't have any. Whatever he meant, he meant. It doesn't change the fact that I think he is doing a great job and that Backlash was an amazing PLE. Children take things personally. We will continue to be fair and honest. At Dave Scherer. So shout out Dave Scherer. He's a guy that we put over on the show here. And so on the other hand, you have Sean. And so I said I'd take it easy on Sean, but I have to. I can't just not, you know what I mean? I can't just not talk about this shit. So at Sean Ross Sapp says, I've been told by WWE PR, personally, he's been told by their PR that Triple H lumping in Fightful was a mishap. Which, oh man, it's just, that's such a little thing. Who cares? Who cares, dude? I don't think PW Insider should have been trashed either. I mean, I think what Triple H was doing was in jest alluding to dirt sheets aren't credible for the most part, either way. But Sean goes on to say, would like that type of thing clarified publicly, as intentionally undermining the work of people who take the steps to verify info is messed up. Well, here's the thing, Sean, is that a Fightful, a lot of you guys and the people who write there, who all melted down because of what Triple H said, by the way, you guys trash WWE a lot, man, and say crazy shit about WWE, and so use words like disgusting and vile, like all these different words about WWE, dude. And then you're saying would like that type of thing clarified publicly. So Sean's like, WWE better fucking apologize. Putting his foot down, standing on his business. But Awful's highlighting and Fightful, a lot of Fightful accounts melted down and went on blocking sprees and got really upset about Triple H saying that. And then Fightful caught a lot of goddamn heat. So here's somebody saying, but Triple H called Sapp and apologized to him. Laugh, laugh, laugh. So Sean Ross Sapp said on a message board or somewhere, I don't know if this is a tweet or a message board or what, but I'll say this. This is from Sapp. I'll say this. Triple H called me. So Sapp's claiming Triple H called him. It was off the record, so I can't elaborate on it. No, I don't buy it or their apology. So still sort of indicting Triple H, being nah, I don't believe that. And da-da-da-da-da. Now, or their apology. I'm not buying it. Now, people think Sapp's working. People are like, there's no way Triple H called him. What do you guys think, chat? Do you think Triple H called him? I don't know. I wouldn't put it beyond them to try and be cool with media. It seems like WWE's trying to be more cool with media, and with Fightful, okay, they do hold a chunk of this space. They've been on the grind for a long time, so it's they do want to be covered favorably. They don't want to just be fucking hated on by Fightful constantly, man, because that's what it seems like. They say crazy shit about WWE and then they obviously lean towards AEW, right? So it's and all of the things do that, all of the fucking dirt sheet, everyone seems to do that, so it's I don't know. So just more WWE not playing nice with dirt sheets, but I don't know. So Sapp saying Triple H contacted him, and I don't buy what the fuck they're saying. This guy says Triple H called out Fightful for not being credible. Sapp had no idea Finn Balor. And so exactly, the dirt sheets, but he didn't just say Fightful, guys. PW Insider got lumped into this, and Meltzer and them, and they all should get lumped together because none of them knew that Balor or Drew McIntyre resigned. None of them knew about Tongaloa. None of them knew about Tama Tonga. None of them knew about this shit, dude. They were talking about Jacob Fatu before fucking Tama Tonga, you know? So the moment it was posted on social media by Finn himself and The Rock, Sean took to Twitter pretending that he knew and charged people $5 to learn more. He's trash. Okay, whatever, opinions on him aside. He is running a business. Yes, they all do this hindsight reporting, you know? They all do it. It is what it is, man. That's why I think being a dirt sheet is just a thankless job, you know? I'd much rather be a personality and just talk shit and be funny. So someone tagged me in this. We'll get to that. So this person writes, Trips broke Sean Ross Sapp. And thanks everybody on X tagging me and everything, just in general, not just on these topics, but just in general. Like, it helps me so much with Phil Marks bookmarks. So Trips broke Sean Ross Sapp. This is the kind of stuff delusional people post to invent grandiose narratives of self-importance. Karma is a beautiful thing. So Triple H should do an apology tweet at the very least. Why? No, he doesn't owe anyone an apology. You guys say horrible shit. All dirt sheets say horrible shit about fucking Triple H over the years in general and WWE. A bunch of Fightful writers specifically who are all getting very frustrated with this and blocking people and protecting their tweets and arguing with people. They all really go harsh on WWE. They don't know you shit. But anyways, this guy's saying, like, if he's serious about change, he should be responsible for clarifying things, including stories from media outlets. No, because y'all don't do that. The dirt sheets don't do that when they get things wrong or when they're caught lying or when they don't know news and then afterwards know all the ins and outs of the news. They don't do that. So no, why would Triple H have to? He's a wrestling promoter. He's not a news guy. Anyways, Sean says he called me. I don't believe he's serious about change or cares in that regard. Throw doubt on everything and they'll doubt anything. Call logs or it didn't happen, someone responds. I don't really care if you think it happened. I kind of agree with Sean there. I'm not going to lie. I don't give a shit. I think he did call him, probably. Like, because think about it. Why would, if Sean just made this up, that's just like, that's like beyond craziness. And I don't think he would just invent that. But maybe, I mean, you could get away with it because Triple H would never address it if he did or not. But we have further proof from Sean, and Sean feels the need to prove it further to people in the IWC. And like, if I'm him, I just wouldn't give a shit. I would just, but hey, you know, or no, I'd probably show it though. If I got, I'd probably post the call log just to shut everybody up, but I don't really care about that. But he did post something here. Now, is this proof? I don't know. I'm not interested in investigating if Sean's lying about talking to Triple H, but he is vested in it, and this is sort of where it went to. It just stooped to. It just seems like a lot of copium over on the Fightful side of things, you know, like from this. Whereas PW Insider were just like, whatever. Children get angry and upset, and Marv always says it. He's like, dude, if you're confident in your work. Shout out Movie Marvin. He always says it to me, like, if you're confident, you don't need to fucking worry about what other people say, dude. Like, you know you're doing good shit. So good shit, pal. So this guy says he definitely wrote this himself, and Sapp says, okay, well played. This made me laugh after a tough week. And here's a note from WWE saying, Sean, it is a pleasure working with you throughout the year. Your work is strong, and we appreciate your commitment to the craft. Nick, Paul, Chris, Greg, and your friends at WWE. I believe this, dude. I believe this. Find a note written from Nick or whoever the fuck wrote this. They sent him some certified Greenwich cheese company. They sent him some cheese or whatever. This is taking it too far. He's not going to take it all the way this far and like post this picture too. Like, it would just be, it's just too much of him like going at people and being like, no, he really talked to me. And here's this lovely cheese they sent me. That's going too far if he was lying. I think that, yeah, I just think that it's too much. And he's obviously okay with it. He's like, okay, well played. This made me laugh. And here's the thing. WWE, he does have sources. They do tell Fightful shit, like 100%. And they do like to have their wrestlers like use that outlet to promote wrestling shit, of course. They're frustrated though, for sure. People there, for sure, in WWE. For surely, I'm telling you guys this, there are people who are frustrated like with the coverage they get by a lot of some of their most prominent writers, fucking say, for sure. And so, but they do get told things and then they don't. That's why Sapp gets the details after. And that's why a lot of these dirt sheets, like, they don't know about Tongaloa because no one in WWE is going to tell them shit. But yes, Triple H would reach out to him. I'm saying Sean's telling the truth. There you go, guys. Because he wants the illusion of like, we have a relationship where we will leak you some things, just not the big important things. You know what I mean? And they're like that now with PW Insider. They have to grind a little bit with things like, and Wrestling Observer. I just don't think they're welcome anymore. I think that's so obvious how one-sided they are that WWE's like, fuck them. And whoever leaks Dave shit tells them wrong shit all the time. But with Fightful, they do have a plug. And I just think Triple H and them would be like, no, we're cool, because I don't know about all this change. They want change and want the media to favor us more. And like, they're accepting gifts to change their narrative on how they're going to cover WWE. Like, that's where it just gets gross and fucking weird. Like, WWE could put me on a WWE kickoff panel tomorrow and I'd still cover it the same way I cover it. AEW could do the same thing and I'd still cover it the way I cover it, period. Not that I even cover it, but I just give my thoughts, and I'm drunk a lot of the time, or on that Perry Pack in Minecraft. You know what I mean? So say of it what you will. There was so much cope going on with all the different Fightful people. I didn't bookmark all of their meltdowns and arguments, or we'd be here for 3 fucking days talking about it. But the Wrestling Observer had to say something about this, and they felt the need to insert themselves into this as well, which is lovely for us because it's time for everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. So Meltzer, he brings up Triple H throws digs at wrestling news sites. Well, he didn't throw digs at yours, buddy. He didn't throw digs at yours, but you're trying to like get into this beef or these meltdowns or whatever. You want to be a part of that and et cetera, et cetera. So here, I'll give them a like. Fuck it. And I'm even subscribed. Do you see that? I'm not a hater, folks. When I tell you guys, I am not just out here hating to hate. Hate.
All right, a couple of newsworthy notes from the press conference. They talked about this being the largest arena gate in WWE history, so that obviously is non-stadium.
Right. So it was over $3 million. They averaged $300 a ticket.
$300 a ticket. Holy smokes.
The Glasgow show is going to beat it.
Wow.
Yeah, the Glasgow show, the ticket prices are insane for the Glasgow show.
He said they'd been asked about returning.
But in AEW, the best wrestle there. So go watch that because it's better. 5 stars.
And he said Nick Khan said they text during the show with the word stadium. So,
they should. They had 11,600 people. I mean, like they sold out, pretty quick. I mean, they should try. They probably would do real well. And there's a stadium right across the street from where they ran, so why not? Was fired or whatever, released because of the Ronda Rousey thing, and then he just goes, he never addressed Rousey, and just goes, he wasn't released, his contract wasn't renewed, which it's whatever, it's semantic, it's the same thing. But then he throws the shot in of,
it's the same thing, but in AEW, no, you guys do. Oh no, the contract's expired. It's not the same thing.
You should probably listen to more credible sources. And it was just like, the guy can't help himself, and WWE quickly apologized to everyone, to them, but privately.
Dave needs to help himself with that just for men, motherfucker.
Not publicly. He didn't apologize. Although I shouldn't say that, because I think he actually called Sean Sapp and probably quietly apologized, or whatever he said, we don't know, because it was basically he told Sean Sapp, like, this is off the record. But, and then,
look at this shit. Look at this. WWE Backlash, the Brian and Vinny show. Is WWE style dying? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
They called, whoever they called PW Insider and all that. And it's like, it was a bullshit comment. And
Oh, you feel slighted, Dave? Yeah, it's a real bullshit comment.
Shouldn't have said it. If Tony Khan would have said it, the people would have gone completely nuts, insane. But he can get away with it because everyone's they're hot and everyone's kissing up to him. And
why? What does Tony Khan have to? They're hot and everyone's kissing up to him. No, everyone's kissing up to Tony Khan because they know that he's shilling out all the money. It does you no good kissing up to WWE because they don't give a shit if you kiss up to them or not, dude. They don't care. They're still trying. Like Triple H is calling Sapp, trying to make things work with him, and they don't kiss up to him. Dave is so fucking deluded, man, and he's just look at him, bro. He's just old and seen it. He doesn't know he's just so fucking deluded. It's backwards. It's all projection with these people. They project harder than any fucking thing in the world. No one's kissing up to Triple H, dude. He just got offended that the dirt sheets are saying he just doesn't like that he was asked that question. Now, you can't blame him. Look at Dana White gets asked questions he doesn't like all the fucking time. Lots of people get asked questions they don't like. Okay? They don't need to kiss your balls. You're just mad because, and you want to lump yourself in with Insider and Fightful. Dave, Fightful and PW Insider are both better than you because they at least fucking don't just blatantly lie. Okay? They might be biased, but they don't fucking just blatantly lie. Or PW Insider's right down the middle,
that's the basic gist of it. And the one thing I got to say is like, I don't, I find it actually an insult to your intelligence to try and say that, and he never said Ronda Rousey had nothing to do with it. However, we did start seeing stuff of, Drew Gulak was this and Drew Gulak was that and blah, blah, blah.
Drew Gulak.
And it's like, it's the timing makes it completely obvious. The minute that thing happened, the guy was taken off TV. When he was taken off TV, I was going like, is he done? And it's like, the answer was, he's not officially done, but he's not coming back. It's if you can't tell that it was
because they weren't renewing him, bro.
The Ronda Rousey thing, but
we can all tell it is, and that's why it goes without saying, Dave. It insults your intelligence that you don't understand nuance, Dave Meltzer. No, Triple H didn't say anything because it goes without saying. You don't need to say anything about it.
Investigation wasn't conclusive. They can't say that. But the whole thing is that, they're afraid the fan base might get mad. She said this in a public forum. Many, many people know it. It became
fan base won't turn. Ronda's a joke, dude.
Big story. And he's a guy with a main roster contract. So he's getting paid, reasonably well. I mean, not giant money, but much bigger money than an NXT guy. And they have no plans for him on the main roster. He's just going to be an NXT guy in the Catch Club. And the reality is he was all over TV. The Catch crew was not being phased out. He was not being phased out. It was just like the decision was made. Obviously, timing is perfect to take him off. And everything else now is just kind of like, I find it kind of like an insult to your intelligence to even try to tell you that, he was whatever he was, like whatever these stories are that suddenly came out on Drew Gulak. It's like, what happened? They can't say it.
So then why is it insulting the intelligence if you know what happened and they can't say it? Dave, like he's such a smarmy, dumb fucking does not operate in even reality. Like it actually is like disturbing. It's actually fucking disturbing, man. So back over to the bookmarks here. Like that shit is so stupid. My word. Like he explains it himself why he didn't address it, and it's somehow insulting Dave's intelligence. So speaking of which, at Meltzer said what? We have the picture of the fucking dude from the Goonies and wrestling. If this was AEW radio.
Kofi says, Woods, I don't know when he's going to be back. I need to beat Gunther, get to the next round. But to get to Gunther, I got to beat Rey Mysterio. All-time great, he says. And he vows to win the tournament for Xavier Woods.
He doesn't mention where the match is or nothing?
Nothing.
No?
Nothing.
Yeah. Just that they're having a match.
Because it's a sold out fucking house show.
For all of the things.
But I will give them that. You should mention where it is and why you're excited, whatever. But house show's probably sold out, bud.
It's like when it was first announced at the start of the show that they were doing these matches at house shows, I thought, this is a good idea. I still think it's a good idea. But this is like, this execution, if this was AEW, people would just be talking about how absolutely incompetent.
Bringing it to AEW again. If this is AEW, so this is the second time he's done it. This is the same show. There's a third example. Meltzer says what has over here.
Talking about how absolutely incompetent they were by announcing it and then not telling you.
Well, I am here telling you how absolutely incompetent WWE was for having 2 matches at a house show, not telling us who, what, when, where, why. I guess we know who.
Okay, well, I thought this is a good idea. Make the house shows mean something. And then they don't tell you. I mean, it was like, what?
Luckily, I will fly to every house show, and I'll catch it one way or the other.
So, and then he does it again over here. Meltzer said, and I'm not just cherry picking. This was such an insightful thought. Dave brought it up again.
Sammy, Bronson, and Chad, and the finals of both of those tournaments.
So also, they did not give a SmackDown bracket.
No, they're probably figuring that out.
That would be another one where people would be,
they're doing it on the fly and figuring it out. No, they just don't come in their pants hotshot book. Like, they'll just tell you on the day and then we'll watch it. Like, what the fuck, man? They try to make these things sound negative about WWE when they're not. And this is where the cope comes from. And this is why they're fucking up. Because it's just making excuses like for AEW, dude. And then he brings it up. I'm not the one doing this. Dave's going, if this was AEW.
If it was AEW, where people would be just going, how incompetent they are.
Yes, because they've done it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Triple H hasn't done this over and over and over and over again. We don't know if it's incompetence yet. We have to trust where they're going because they've delivered so many times recently. AEW's never delivered. Almost ever. They fumble everything. So yes, Dave, Jesus Christ, if this was AEW, we'd laugh at it. Yes.
They should have had a bracket. They should have had what?
They should have bracket and told us what matches.
Actually, they may have had the bracket, but I don't know if they told us what.
I didn't see a bracket. I don't think they did. I mean, unless I fast forwarded through it, and I didn't. I don't think they had a SmackDown bracket.
And Dave just exposes himself. He's a goof who just fast forwards through everything and then speaks as though, it's a 6-star match. It's an 87-star match. God damn that dude, man. That's hilarious. AEW, per the Wrestling Observer, AEW's Tony Khan doesn't think it would be a smart move to wrestle a match. No shit. We talked about that earlier. So isn't it funny how no one, this is via Switchblade 97. I think they were on the show last live show. Isn't it funny how no one is able to give the number for his significantly increased price? So Dave Meltzer is responding to someone who says, what, another Phil? Yeah, shout out Phil. What's the major increase in Dynamite revenue since they've not signed a new deal, are still under the same terms as last year? Legit asking here, because without a new deal, they've got no new income in comparison. Meltzer responds and says the deal signed in 2020 was for 4 years plus WWBD had an option for year 5, but at a greatly increased price. WBD exercised that option for the additional year. There's just no number though. Like, that's the problem. It's like, what is this additional year? What are the numbers? All we can confirm is that Punk maybe got them a bill or whatever, or was gonna for that collision. Like, we don't know. No one actually tells us. This guy says revenue doesn't mean shit when you were bleeding cash. Of course, Meltzer will completely ignore this. Meltzer quote tweets this in response. Actually, it does. Every streaming company was valued based on subscriber numbers and revenue. And just as an example, Peacock loses more money every 10 days than AEW has lost in 5 years. And do people with no understanding of debt and financing say they aren't a real company? And this guy responds and says, well, actually, Peacock loses more money, and my sources told me AEW is doing great business. Eric Bischoff lost a lot of money, $12.99. Exactly, man. It's and he goes, the streaming companies are based on the subscriber numbers. Exactly. Show me the AEW subscriber numbers. Show them to me. Where? Prove that they can garner subscribe. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with what anyone's talking about, bro? Valued at what? Because you have a lot of wrestlers with high money contracts? Like, what's the value? Like, that doesn't matter, Dave. It's so stupid. It just means no understanding of debt and financing. No, dude, Peacock and them are investing tons and tons of money. They see return in different ways. AEW, what's their if they just went AEW plus AEW right now, be a subscriber, how many would they have? How many? There's no, all it proves is that they don't have a shit like 600,000 people are going to switch over to Max if they go. Like, it's just such cope, and it's excuses. At AEW Neckbeard, shut him out. This guy says, LOL, yes. Revenue is up to the degree it is because of the 3.5% inflation over the year. You are so smart and such a serious person. Dave Meltzer says revenue was up just over 60% last year. And then Neckbeard says, that's great, Dave. Now, what was AEW's profit? Exactly. Revenue can be up 60%. And this guy, oh, revenue was up over 60%. Yes, revenue's up. And it doesn't even respond to what he says. Yeah, because 3.5% inflation over the year. That 3.5% probably equals the 60% up, but that's because inflation doesn't have fucking anything to do with them being hotter or anything. Like, objectively, their numbers are lower in every aspect. What did they make? Revenue's up over 60%. Okay, but did they make money on the goddamn revenue, Dave? Oh, you guys are going to pretend that you know what you're talking about when it comes to debt and blah, blah, blah. Jeepers, man. Dave speaks on AEW possibly doing more shows in Europe. The expense is pretty high, so I'd say that they probably like won't whatever. I think the deal is they probably won't do it. I think the deal is it would probably take somebody from there to make an offer like to whatever, bring them in. See, tourist boards, they're just looking for WWE. AEW's name is not big enough. Like, UFC and WWE can get paid by the government agencies all over the world. Boom! Dave just said it himself. But then I tweeted out and I brought it up earlier, like, yeah, so Dave just stooged like AEW pays to do Wembley. Everyone's like, well, of course. Well, exactly. So they don't make money on the fucking gate. So, the biggest gate doesn't matter. The reason Vince was trying to get the biggest gate wasn't for that fucking number. He can just work that number. It's for what it meant for the company moving goddamn forward. Capitalizing on that. You never capitalized on this shit. It was a whole wreck and a joke. And so the expense is high for him to run it there. So it costs AEW a shitload to run it there. He's not making money on these goddamn shows, whereas Wembley will pay, London will pay fucking premium to have WWE there. Right? So it's just, there it is, levels to the shit. Don't tell me about numbers and debt and all this shit. Don't even talk about that. Don't even talk about it. Because right there, that just proves like that's all of AEW's money this year, bud. So then this Dynamite that we just watched, Meltzer was already coping about it, and we saw the building was shit. We just did a watch along of it. We saw, the crowd was decent, but the building wasn't that full. Well, at least optically, it looked pretty empty, at least at the beginning. And then he has the built-in excuse that Dave Meltzer believes that many fans may no-show this week's AEW Dynamite due to the NHL Stanley Cup game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks, which I got to go watch the rest of. It's going to be really tough because they're in Edmonton and the Oilers are in the Stanley Cup against the Vancouver Canucks that day. No, they're not in the Stanley Cup, dude. It's like round 2 of the Western Conference. The game's in Vancouver, but in Edmonton. The city's basically going to shut down for that game. There's going to be an event in Edmonton right next to the show where AEW is, and there's going to be 20,000 people there for a watch party for the game. So basically the traffic getting out is going to be murderous unless you stay for the ROH tapings. Oh my God. So they're taping ROH right now. Nobody's going to be there. In which case the traffic may not be that bad, but a lot of people at that thing are probably going to want to be getting home for the game. Because the game was just announced, it's not like when people bought tickets, they knew there'd be this game, so I could see people no-showing that have tickets, and I could see people leaving early to get home. Yeah, so he's already coping. We already said it. It's going to be one of the worst-rated Dynamites probably ever. Here's Dave talking about more on what we just talked about a moment ago. Meltzer, can you imagine if Tony Khan said that? What a meltdown. Dave proceeds to have a meltdown and follow-up posts. So here's Dave posting all about, sorry, I meant to show this before, but can you imagine if Tony Khan said that? What a meltdown. Not only those guys, but 80% of the reporters would have. And every single fraud podcaster as well. Dave, you're a fraud podcaster. I didn't fucking melt down. And guess what? All of those fucking journalists did melt down, you fucking dummy. Can't wait for this week to see them all not say a word here. Dave gets real saucy and spicy on his message board. I love it. He didn't morph. St. Paul, and it's no big deal. Dave, you don't know him. Like Sapp saying that WWE PR called and told them they didn't mean him. I'm sure it happened. If he said that about me, I'm sure I'm getting the same call. And you think I'm believing it? You think I'm writing on X? Hey, guys, he didn't mean me. He didn't even say my site, and I'm right here telling you if it was mentioned, he'd have said the same thing, and yes, he would have meant me. Dave is such a gross pig. Like, bro, you just want that fucking, he's just reaching and just groveling. Why didn't he bring me up?
Emotional damage.
So Dave posts that picture, Sapp. I give him a ton of credit for saying this. 95% of the people in the same spot would not have. No, Dave, you guys don't get calls, motherfucker. Dave, can you imagine if Tony? Yeah, like if Triple H called Dave, he would never stop talking about it. Never, ever, ever, man. So just what about Tony Khan? What about Tony Khan? And then look, see, it's okay when Khan does it. You're a fraud, Ariel Helwani. You're as legitimate of a reporter as Tony Schiavone. Thanks for watching, old friend. Good luck with the unbiased journalism. And again, Dave just proving that he, in fact, is the biased motherfucker and is the guy who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, man. Once again, and coping, just saying crazy shit on his message board, getting nice and spicy. I like message board Dave. If you guys can send me more of message board Dave, I love that. So Dave Meltzer, the last thing I want to talk about, Dave Meltzer had this to say regarding Shinsuke Nakamura potentially heading back to New Japan once his contract is up and comes to an end in WWE. And Meltzer says, I don't think so. He likes living in the States. It's not impossible. I know that they really wanted him back when his contract expired the first time. He didn't go back. From an economic standpoint, New Japan is much farther away from WWE a few years ago. WWE contracts have gone up. New Japan contracts have stayed steady. Why is that? Because AEW fucking neutered them. Took their fucking stars, neutered them, and yeah, man, that's why that happened. But Dave will never admit that because he's a biased podcaster. And that was, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.